Welcome back to the Wargrove of Woe, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at all of the faction-specific terrain in Age of Sigmar 3.0. This is not going to be set up like a tier list, as all the terrain features in Age of Sigmar do not have a points cost, and so there is no real downside to bringing them or not, and so I think that kind of makes it a little bit difficult to rate them. In the future, I can definitely make a tier list if you guys would like to see it, based off of their usefulness or how important to the army the various terrain features are. But without further ado, let's get started. So before we get into it, we'll just answer this very simple question. What are faction-specific terrain features? Well, whenever you are setting up a board to play Age of Sigmar, you put down terrain features to make the board interesting and not just a flat field. Certain armies have their faction-specific terrain features that they can deploy in their deployment zone alongside some other rules about where and how you can place it, but they place these terrain features and it is considered a part of their army. So it is a little bit more different than neutral terrain that you would put down. Like I said previously, faction terrain, unlike 40k, in Age of Sigmar, it is free. So there is no reason not to take it, pretty much. There are a ton of faction terrains. I think the majority of armies have them, only a few don't, and I believe they will be slowly added in as more releases come out. To start with, we have Beasts of Chaos. The Beast of Chaos Herdstone is very important to their army, and it gives them a fantastic buff. It starts out by just giving them a flat +1 rend, and then at Battle Round 3, they get a +2 rend. This is very powerful. Additionally, the Hearthstone has a range of 12 inches that increases by 6 inches each battle round, and Beast of Chaos units wholly within that range get half Battle Shock casualties, and they get to rally on a 4+. Additionally, you can perform sacrifices at the Hearthstone to get Primordial Call points, so you can summon more big beasties. Khorne's Skull Altar is next, and this smaller sized terrain feature lets you reroll channeling rolls wholly within 8 of it. Additionally, while it is on the board, it just makes all mist casts anywhere do d6 mortal wounds instead of d3. Additionally, regular non-priest Khorne heroes can garrison the altar and attempt to summon the invocations or the judgments of Khorne, his endless spells. So that's a neat little thing that I didn't know until recently. For Stlanesh, we have the Fane of Stlanesh. It's fairly underwhelming, but it gets you the ability to sacrifice either health or an artifact to get +1 to hit for 1 turn, or the rest of the battle respectively. It is also a locust for you to summon your demons with depravity points. For Nurgle, we have the Gnarl Maw, and these Gnarl Maws, they give disease tokens as if your opponent was near one of your units, and they generate 1 contagion point per tree. If you're unaware, contagion points are how Nurgle summons things. So if you really get a good forest going, you can generate a lot of points and summon more things. Skaven Gnawholes are very simple and very effective. Once per turn per Gnawhole, you can teleport units through them to any of the other Gnawholes, just giving you another movement capability. For Flesh Eater Quartz, they have the Charnel Throne. First thing it does is enemies within 12 inches of it cannot ignore Battle Shock. And the other one is while a hero is garrisoning the throne, Flesh Eater Quartz within 12 inches can summon without spending CP. So if you do not know, a lot of the Flesh Eater Quartz heroes have a once per game command point that they can summon more units. If they are near the Charnel Throne while it is garrisoned, they don't have to do that. For the Oceanic Bone Reaper's Bone Tithe Nexus in your hero phase, you can pick one of the following options to inflict on your enemy. An 18-inch reach, 1 enemy unit on a 4-up gets -1 to hit. 36-inch reach, 1 enemy wizard gets -1 to cast and unbind on a 2-up. On a 36-inch reach, 1 enemy unit on a 2-up takes 1 mortal wound. And then within 18 inches, 1 enemy unit on a 4-up cannot run and can only charge 1d6. The Gloom Spike's Loon Shrine gives some very good bonuses for the Gloom Spike. They get Battle Shock immunity wholly within 12 inches of it, and at the end of each of your turns, you can pick one battle line unit. So this also includes if your general is on a squig, you can pick either your squig battle line options, or if you have a Troggoth, you can pick the Troggoth battle line options. If they are destroyed on a 4-up, you can add a new one of the same battle line at half strength to your army within 12 inches of the Loon Shrine. So it's kind of like they're coming out of the cave and being reinforcements. Additionally, Git's units are affected by the light of the bad moon wholly within 12 inches of the shrine. Before we continue on, a quick thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing, and I am grateful for each and every one of you. An extra special thanks to Nick Hoff. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, please check out the link in the description below. Down there as well will be a link to the Discord if you'd like to come and join the community over there. Next up, for the Ogre Ma tribes, we have the Ogre Ma Pot. It gives a +1 to cast and unbind for wizards within 1 inch of it, and the pot can be either full or empty. It starts the game full, and if the pot is full, you can empty it to do a D3 heal to each ogre unit within 36 inches, and then the pot is emptied. To refill the pot, you can throw an enemy into it pretty much, which means that if an enemy model is slain within 6 inches, the pot is refilled. For the Fire Slayers, they have the Magmic Battleforge. It gives a +1 to chanting rolls for priests within 6. Additionally, you can do a once per game board-wide 6-up ward, but you lose the +1 chanting. The IDK Deepkin have the Gloomtide Shipwreck. This one is very simple. It just gives a 5-up ward for IDK units wholly within 6. Then we have the Lumineth Realmlord's Shrine Luminor. They get to reroll 1 casting or dispelling roll within 12 inches or within 18 inches if it is garrisoned. And the garrisoned hero can issue a command without spending CP once per game, or once per turn. The Seraphon's terrain piece is the Realm Shaper Engine. If you have the Realm Shaper garrisoned by a wizard or a priest, you can pick 1 terrain feature on the battlefield and roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the selected terrain feature. You get a 2+ if the terrain is within 18 inches of the Realm Shaper engine, or a -2 if the terrain feature is more than 36 inches away. On a 4-up, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. You roll this dice for each of the enemies near it, so it has the potential to spit out a whole bunch of mortal wounds. Lastly, we have the Sylvaneth Wildwoods. Now, the Sylvaneth Wildwoods have a ton of rules and interactions inside of the core Sylvaneth Battle Tome, and many of the rules for the Wildwoods are not found on the War Scroll. So I've detailed the basic ones for the Wildwoods, but just keep in mind that Wildwoods have a lot to do with the core book of Sylvaneth, as opposed to just a War Scroll. At the end of the charge phase, you roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch, and you get a +2 to the roll if any wizards or endless spells are within 6 of the woods, and on a 6+, you deal D3 mortal wounds. The Wildwoods do not block line of sight for Sylvaneth, and the woods allow Sylvaneth to teleport between them. If you would like to get the full review on the rules for Wildwoods, I can certainly make a video for that. And that was a quick review of all of the faction-specific terrain pieces that exist in Age of Sigmar 3.0 at the time of recording. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or a comment, and if you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. This has been the Ogre Ma Pot, and I'll talk to you guys next time.